U.S. publication Car and Driver is reporting that the German car maker will introduce the C63 R in 2019, effectively ending the previous line of AMG black variants, with the R moniker living on as the most potent representative instead. Pundits are predicting that the new R will borrow the mighty 450 kilowatts per 850 Nm drivetrain and four-wheel drive of its larger AMG E63 sibling, but Wills understands that, in the name of weight saving and track dynamics, the C63 R will stick with rear drive only. That decision almost certainly rules out the use of the E63's engine, which would turn tires into smoke in the blink of an eye without the beast-taming all-power traction. More likely will be a strict weight loss diet for the C63's that could see as much as 100 kilograms dropped through modifications such as the deletion of rear seats and extensive carbon fiber panel and component use. The car maker may squeeze a little more grunt from the standard 4.0-liter turbocharged V8 as a gesture, but a majority of the added performance will most likely be thanks to weight reduction and a sharpened chassis. Mercedes AMG is remaining tight-lipped regarding the legitimacy of the report's claims, but Mercedes-Benz Australia Public Relations and Communications Manager Jerry Stimoulis told Wills that if the R is chalked for production, it was likely to be offered locally. The R formula for the AMG GT works, and to see that in other AMG models is something we would welcome, he said. Any variant outside the 63S, we know Australians love. C63 Black Series are still holding their current values. If other morsels in the report are to be believed, the new variant will bring a more aerodynamic body for increased downforce, larger wheels and carbon fiber wings and roof. If it follows the lead of the AMG GTR in every way, then expect to see a fatter exhaust, tricked-up interior and a lurid paint scheme. Exact rivals to the C63 R will remain unclear until more information regarding body style surfaces. If the badge is applied to Mercedes coupe, then BMW's M4 GTS will be firmly in the rifle sights, whereas a sedan version would go after the most potent versions of the M3. An estate wagon version seems unlikely at this stage, but it would bump gloves with Audi's yet-to-be-made official RS4 Avant and the BMW Alpina B3 Touring. Local pricing would certainly exceed the current C63 sedan and coupe pair, which currently retail in Australia for $158,115 and $162,115 respectively before on-road costs, but let's not get too excited until the C63R is officially confirmed. The latest figures show buyers are spending more on utes than ever before, with the most expensive versions topping $60,000, accounting for more than half of Toyota Hilux and Ford Ranger sales. Last year, the Toyota Hilux was Australia's best-selling vehicle of any type, the first time in our history a ute had topped the sales charts. Utes now represent 4 of the top 10 sellers nationally. Which is why Toyota, Ford and Holden are secretly working on even more expensive monster utes that will be on sale within the next 2 years. It's also why Volkswagen just introduced the super luxury version of its Amarok pickup, and Mercedes-Benz is planning to get in on the action with its new X-Class ute due next year. A little more than a decade ago, the Holden Commodore and Ford Falcon utes topped the workhorse market. But since 2006, heavy-duty utes such as the Toyota Hilux have been the tradies' favorite. The Hilux Tonka Edition is a one-off special created by the 150 designers and engineers who work at Toyota headquarters in Melbourne. Toyota says families will get to see the Tonka Hilux in the metal as it tours 4WD shows, field days and expos around the country. We have taken Tonka out of the sandpit and reinvented Hilux from top to bottom and from nose to tail, said Toyota Australia designer Nick Hagos. Inspired by the Tonka trucks that kids play with in their backyards, The Hilux Tonka concept goes way beyond the already hugely capable abilities of Hilux to traverse rocks and other rugged terrain. Unlike other show cars, the Tonka Hilux actually drives. Underneath the wild yellow and black bodywork is a Hilux SR5 that's been jacked up on heavy-duty off-road suspension. It also has extra underbody protection should you want to take it off the beaten track. Tesla CEO Elon Musk today shared the first video of what he calls a release candidate version of Tesla's upcoming Model 3 electric car. We've seen Model 3 prototypes before, and this 5-second clip doesn't really show us anything new, but Musk enjoys feeding the hype train. Musk said. He also noted that calling the new car the Model 3 inches was sowing confusion among customers about whether it was the next version of Tesla's car, like Apple going from the iPhone 2 to iPhone 3. Not true. He called himself a dumb idiot for naming it Model 3, saying he didn't realize at the time that it would cause confusion. Instead, he says customers should think of the Model 3 as similar to the BMW 3 Series or Audi A4, while the Model S is like a BMW 5 or 6 Series, different cars but sold side by side. Musk noted that he will keep driving the Model S even after the Model 3 arrives. In an anecdote we've known for a while, Musk reminded followers that the Model 3 was originally going to be named the Model E, for obvious dumb humor reasons, meaning the cars would be Models S, E, and X, but a Ford trademark lawsuit prevented that from happening. Next up, naturally, is Model Y S3XY. As part of his tweet storm this morning, which occurred during a flight to Cape Canaveral for a SpaceX rocket launch, Musk replied to a number of current and potential Tesla customers about what's coming from the company in the coming months. Among other things, he said, "The first Model 3 cars will all be rear-wheel drive, much like the Model S was, to make production a bit simpler. All-wheel drive/dual-motor versions will come 6 to 9 months after launch. Performance versions of the Model 3 will come probably a year from now, though the Model S will remain faster because it has room for a larger battery." More cowbell will be coming in the Tesla 8.1 software update, which is expected next week. It's a reference to a Will Ferrell Saturday Night Live skit of which Musk is a fan. Previous versions of Tesla's vehicle operating system have included Easter eggs referencing cowbell. The Model 3 will have a single screen combining instrument cluster and infotainment information in one place. Hinting at possible increased autonomy, Musk asked how often riders look at the instrument panel in a taxi. The exterior styling will offer the second generation of the GLE a well-defined identity, starting with the massive radiator grille and the bold wheel arches. As for the interior, we can talk about the dashboard, which mixes predictable elements with surprising ones. An example for the first category comes from the massive digital screens, which aren't housed underneath a single bezel, as we've seen on the 2018 S-Class facelift prototypes. As for the surprise, this is delivered via the square air vents underneath the infotainment display, as well as by the handles adorning the center console. At least judging from this cabin pic we have here, it looks like the raised position of the handles wouldn't bring the kind of ergonomics expected from a Mercedes-Benz interior, so we could see the element being lowered en route to production. The GLE should be one of the models benefiting from the German automaker's upcoming straight-six engine family. The new gas and diesel units will make their debut on the 2018 Mercedes-Benz S-Class, which is scheduled to be introduced in April. On the gas side of the family, a 3.0-liter unit replacing the twin-turbo V6 power plant that currently powers the 400 models will deliver mild hybrid assistance, mixing an electric compressor with a 48V electric system that will allow an electric motor to deliver extra torque in low and mid-range situations. Expect the setup to deliver north of 400 horses. We'll have plenty of time to become familiar with the way in which Mercedes-Benz marks its straight-six return until the GLE is revealed next year, with the SUV expected to come to the market as a 2019 model. The Indian sub-4-meter sedan segment has an interesting history. It was born out of a 2006 legislation that allowed small cars to qualify for a lower excise duty. In fact, the then Finance Minister, P. Chidambaram, in his 2006 budget speech, said, "I propose to reduce the excise duty to 16%, but only for small cars." A small car, for this purpose, will mean a car of length not exceeding 4,000 mm and with an engine capacity not exceeding 1,500 cc's for diesel and 1,200 cc's for petrol. The speech didn't mention hatchbacks or sedans. Quick to exploit the opportunity, and Indians' craze for sedans, Tata Motors shortened the Indigo sedan's boot, reducing the car's length to 3,988 mm, and passed on some of the excise cut benefit to customers. Thus was born the Indigo CS. Tata Motors has come a long way since the Indigo CS. Under the Horizon Next approach of producing vehicles which are both exciting and appealing, the company now has world-class products like the Chago hatchback and the Hixa MUV. On March 29, it'll add another to the list, the Tiger sub-4-meter sedan. However, Tata is branding the Tiger as a style back. Products in this segment have a boring design and we want to bring style back to the segment, said Pratap Bose, the head of design at Tata Motors, whom we met during the pre-launch drive in New Delhi. It's a challenge to design compact sedans. One has to ensure that looks, design, roominess, storage spaces and driving dynamics aren't compromised. However, innovation can help overcome any challenge. That's what Bose's team has achieved with the Tiger. View it from any angle, especially the rear three-quarters, and the Tiger looks stunning. The best thing about its design is that the boot is neatly integrated with the body. The car has a lively and dynamic stance that exudes the feeling of youthfulness. The paint job is as good as it can get. The dual-colored bumper with a Tata signature grille is accentuated with a striking chrome design line, extending into the crystal-like, smoke projector headlamps. The design lines run through the length of the car, integrating seamlessly with the signature split LED tail lamps. The top variants of the Tiger will get an integrated high-mounted LED stop lamp. It looks very stylish. The A document on the 2018 Shelby GT350 reveals that the last model year of the GT350 won't get the facelift face of the 2018 Mustang. And time has taught us that Ford doesn't do the GT350 and GT500 concomitantly. It's a given, then, that the earliest we'll get to see the new GT500 in dealership lots is in 2018 for the 2019 model year. Still, the wait will be well worth it. Mustang 6G forum member J1598666 captured a prototype of a Go Faster staying up on lift, which strikes a discordant note from earlier GT500 test mules. Look at the front fenders. Look at the Rochecker-inspired louvers located above the wheel arches. Intriguing stuff, alright. The mule photographed by J1598666 isn't confirmed to be a 2019 Shelby GT500, but if FOMOCO goes forward with those louvers, I'm definitely down with it. Even though the carbon fiber wheels are the same units as found on the GT350R, the work-in-progress rear wing has a different design. Another detail that proves this is just a test bed is represented by the pre-facelift headlights. It's only natural to assume, then, that the actual GT500 will adopt elements from the 2018 Ford Mustang GT, including the somewhat awkward face. The forum thread where these photos were posted also features quite an interesting line, as follows: "I can tell you that I overheard. They were testing TTs, but they have switched to a blower. Well, I'll be damned. I wouldn't have the GT500 any other way than with a thumping great supercharger under the hood, not a turbo."